Time passes by with a multitude of changes, and every day can pass.
All new places, different faces in a world where changes everywhere you turn.
Find a friend you can rely on.
Hold the helping hand that shares. Keep the company that will truly care. The company that doctors build. The caring and the expertise. We're here
To serve you through the years,
for all that life may bring. We're here to help your family live in health and grow your dreams. The company that doctors build.
Medicard.
The caring and the expertise.
Finding
Medicard, Medicard, find the healthcare that you need
in Medicard.
Oh, right. The letter of approval for my eye checkup. I think that came in yesterday. Let me check the app. There it is. I can go see my doctor now. I swear, if I didn't have a healthcare plan, I wouldn't think to look out for myself.
It's been really hectic lately at the store, and we almost didn't have time for my employees' annual checkup. Good thing Medicard does on-site testing. We can continue with business as usual, and my employees don't have to do more work to get their health checked. Thank God for Medicard.
I used to be able to do it all, but I'm too old to spend my time on long queues. That's aging for you, I suppose. Being able to do these tests at home brings me so much comfort.
come a long way in building a healthcare system that lives up to what we aim to be, to serve as the lifeline of our clients, a bridge to health. 35 years, fueled by a desire to make healthcare affordable and accessible to everyone, inspired by the trust of our clients. We want our members to feel like they can enjoy their lives to the fullest, that they can give their best shot in pursuing their aspirations because they are in their best of health, and that they can take comfort in knowing that the healthcare they need is just within their reach. Thank you for entrusting your health to us. It's what we're here for.
Good afternoon, everyone. So welcome again to another session of Medicare's Wellness Webinar. I am Dr. Colleen Faustino, the Manager for On-Site Clinic Management and Health Promotion Services, and I will be your host this afternoon. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is a campaign to increase the awareness and understand the impact of this disease. I won't keep you waiting. Please allow me to introduce today's speaker. Our speaker is a graduate of BS Nursing from Wesleyan University, a Doctor of Medicine graduating from Our Lady of Fatima University. She had her residency training in radiology at the Carino Medical Memorial Center, Quezon City, accomplished a basic course in occupational medicine through the Occupational Safety and Health Center at Quezon City, a graduate of the diploma course in occupational medicine of the Philippine College of Occupational Medicine, a clinical instructor, lecturer, facilitator, company physician. Let us all welcome our speaker, Dr. Rochelle Benlata.
Good afternoon to all of you. So let me share my screen. So I hope we are all okay right now. Rainy afternoon for all of us. So again, we have a topic and this would be all about breast cancer. And of course, We also have some relatives who suffered from this condition, and then we're going to discuss and look at it on its definition, what are the different signs and symptoms, and of course, diagnostic examination and part of the prevention. Okay. So I was already introduced earlier. So of course, being a radiologist, I have done breast ultrasound, and then I also have seen a result of mammogram. Okay. So let us look into the overview of the breast cancer. So in here, we have here all-cause mortality, and this would be January to December 2019 and 2020. And so with this one, we're going to look at number two, and this would be neoplasm. Of course, in neoplasm, we have different neoplasm from the female and the male gender respectively. Okay, so for the first question, you can type in your answer on the chat box. And the question is, what is the most cancer in women? So that would be the first question. Again, you can put your answers on the chat box, and we'll go. I am going to see what would be your answer. So, okay, so you have a unanimous answer. And of course, your answer would be all about breast cancer. Okay, so breast. So again, I haven't seen any other answer. So we have one answer, and that would be breast cancer. So let us continue our discussion. So we have here uh, this pie graph, and then it talks about number of new cases in 2020 in both sexes and all ages. And then, of course, you have your breast cancer. It is colored pink. And then number of new cases in 2020 for males. And then, of course, you have the lung cancer. And then you have number of cases in 2020 for female. And you are correct when you said that, of course, breast cancer, a common cancer. Okay, so who got the answer right? You can tap your shoulder and say, you're very good. Okay, so let us continue. Of course, how is the breast designed? So anteriorly located. So of course, we know that it is anteriorly located or on the chest. However, it comes in different sizes. So how do we know the sizes? We have different cup. Cup A, cup B, cup C, cup D. And we have uh, a joke in the university. So we have what we call subak. So what is subak? It is suso at the back. So when you are quite big, and then you're going to wear a brassiere that is very tight, and then you have bulges at the back. So we call that one subak. Anyway, whatever the size is, it has its function. So what would be one of the function of the breast aside from, of course, if you have a bigger breast, they say that it would be sexier. But again, what would be the function? So again, one of the function is to uh, produce milk in the time of breastfeeding. Okay. So again, it is anteriorly located. So for the types of cancer, of course, we have different types. So we have here your ductal carcinoma, and then of course your lobular carcinoma. Okay. So for the types, so we have the most common, which is your invasive ductal carcinoma. This is 50 to 70% of breast cancer cases. And then, of course, 20% would be your ductal carcinoma in situ, and 10% would be your invasive lobular carcinoma. Again, we have the most common, and this would be your invasive ductal carcinoma. Okay? So the question is, what causes breast cancer? So can you type your answer? What causes breast cancer? Would there be any food that you know that causes breast cancer? Would there be any lifestyle that you know that causes breast cancer? So you can chat your answers. So what do you think causes breast cancer? Genetic, genetic. Okay, good answer. Genes and lifestyle. Okay, let's take note of the lifestyle. Anyhow foods with a question mark. Stress, genetics. What else? So again, you can say your answers or you can chat your answers. You can put it in the chat box. sweet, genetics, stress, lifestyle, genetics and stress. What else do we have? Family history of breast or ovarian cancer, previous treatment using radiation therapy, environmental factors, including exposure to radiation, hormone imbalance, lifestyle and stress. So again, increasing age, obesity, genetic mutation, and then family history. So we have all very good answers. So let's look at what causes breast cancer. Of course, we have here your cancer is always caused by genetic abnormality. So we always ask our patient, do you have family history of cancer or what type of cancer are present in the family? And then of course, you have 5 to 10% of cancer are due to an abnormality inherited from your mother and or father, and 90% of breast cancers are due to genetic abnormality. So you have the wear and tear. So earlier on, I have seen aging population. So of course, our body is likened to a machine. So we have the wear and tear. Okay. So let's continue our discussion. So question number one. So one risk factor for breast cancer development. So, or write one risk factor for breast cancer development. I think we already answered this question earlier. So again, you have your lifestyle, stress, genetics, and of course, let us look into this. Okay. So breast cancer risk factor. So risk factors women can control, and then risk factor women can control. So if your question right now is, what are the things that I need to do to prevent development of cancer? And this would be the question. Okay. So let us start first with risk factors women can control. Of course, exercise is very important. Earlier on, there is one answer that obesity can cause breast cancer. But of course, again, in order for us to prevent breast cancer, we should have exercise, and it would follow that if you exercise, you have the normal BMI. So fat cells produce estrogen. For every 11 pounds gained after menopause, breast cancer risk increased by 3%. So again, what would be the factor that causes breast cancer when you age? And that would be your menopause, and then you have fatty deposition. Okay. You also have alcohol consumption. So more than 6 to 10 drinks a week elevates a woman's risk for breast and other cancer, including esophageal, liver, and colorectal. And then, of course, you have your hormone replacement therapy. So HRT, that includes both estrogen and progesterone during menopause increases risk. So that is why I would also like emphasize that if you are already menopause and then you want to have hormone replacement therapy, it's not that you need to go to a doctor. You need to be evaluated. Okay? And then, of course, you have your reproductive history. So, not breastfeeding, having children after age 30, or not having children at all are known risk factor. So, if you are 29 years old and then you would say that I would rather not have breast cancer, then of course you can have a kid, because in here we have a cutoff of 30 years and older. Okay. So what does it mean if you're not going to have any kids at all? So that would mean that your body would have continuous exposure to estrogen. And of course, that would lead to the development of breast cancer. Okay. So again, these are the risk factors. So meaning these are the things that we can do in the prevention of breast cancer. And on the other hand, there are things that we can change. And what are those? We have here genetic mutation. So BRCA1 and BRCA2 are the best known. However, there are 11 genes related to your breast cancer. So if you have the genes, then there's a higher chance for you to have breast cancer. And also you have family cancer history. So breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and other glandular cancer, such as colon or stomach in a family member younger than 50. And then you also have radiation to the chest. Okay, you have an answer like this early. Okay. So radiation therapy to the chest or breast before age 30. most often for the treatment of Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when you are younger, you have a disease, and that would be Hodgkin's lymphoma. And as part of the treatment, your doctor advised you to go on radiation. Then you were able to get healed of the cancer. However, because of the radiation history, there would be chances that you can have breast cancer. You also have your menstruation history, early menopausal period is starting before age 12. So that would be the first menstruation, and that would be menarche. So meaning if you have your first menstruation before 12, and then you have your menopause is starting after age 55. So what does it mean? You have an unopposed estrogen, and your exposure to the estrogen would be lengthy. Okay? And then that would put you at risk. So you also have dense breast tissue. So dense breast tissue can make it difficult to see tumors on mammogram, which is why 3D mammography is so important. So later on, we're going to talk about what are the different imaging modalities. I'm a radiologist, so of course, it would be my pleasure to talk about different imaging modalities, and that includes also your mom. So prevention. So how are we going to prevent breast cancer? Of course, breastfeeding, don't smoke, limit using hormone medication, limit exposure to pollution, limit your alcohol consumption, go for a mammogram, watch out for changes to your breast, eat healthy food, keep your weight down, and then exercising regularly. So these are the things that we can do to prevent breast cancer. Okay? So question. So you can type in your answers, enumerate the manifestations of breast cancer. So what do you think would be the manifestations of breast cancer? So you can write your answers on the chat box. So what are the manifestations, signs and symptoms? What are the changes on the breast? Okay, there would be pain, lumps in the breast, lump, new lump. What else do we have? Lumps. So that would mean madami, bukol, discoloration, lumps, redness, abnormal secretions, cracked nipples, swelling, thickening of the part of the breast. Very good answers. What else? Okay, so I think all your answers are correct. So thank you for the keyboard nipple inversion. Yes, nipple discharge. So changes in the nipple. So the keyboard warriors, retraction. Okay, what else? So okay, so let us continue. So the manifestations of the breast cancer would be, what are those? So again, we have symptoms of breast cancer, and all your all your answers are correct. So that would be all of the above. Okay. So we have persistent lump or thickening in the breast or armpit area, changes in the color of the skin of the breast, areola or nipple. So you can also have dimpling, puckering, or scaling, newly retracted, inverted nipple. So nipple inversion. You also have discharge coming out of the nipple. And then, of course, change in the size or shape of the breast. But, of course, you need to look at your breast, compare the right and the left. The other breast would be somewhat lower in comparison with the other breast, but the discrepancy is not that big, okay? One time, I have a bad cough. So, I decided to have an x-ray. So, I told my rad, I need a chest x. Then, I was looking at the result of my chest x-ray, and then I realized one thing. And I told to myself na yung palang suso, mas mababa yung isa kaysa dun sa isa. And then somebody was laughing behind me. And my coworker was also there. And then he was also looking at my breast. Okay? So early cancer may have no symptoms. So the thing is, these are the things that we can see. These are the changes that we can observe. But however, it doesn't mean that you have this, you don't have the disease. Because early breast cancer may not have symptoms. Okay? So, diagnosis of breast cancer. So, another question. So, how to diagnose breast cancer? Or what are the imaging modalities to diagnose breast cancer? Or what are the other diagnostic examinations oh, to do in order to diagnose breast cancer? So you can type in your answer. So how to diagnose breast cancer? What are the different examination that must be done, that should be done? Okay, very good answer. Breast ultrasound, mammogram, PET scan, breast ultrasound, mammogram, biopsy, MRI, ultrasound, mammogram, breast ultrasound, MRI, mammogram, PET, what else? Ultrasound. So I think that everybody also have given sonomammogram, bone scan, mammogram. So of course, everybody has answered correctly again. X-ray. So possible if you have uh, stage 4 metastasis to the bone and you have your osteoblastic or osteoclastic changes. Okay. Wow, periodic breast examination. Nice answer. What else? So I can see. Okay, self-diagnose with a question mark. What else? Okay, so now let's look at your answers. Of course, all of them are correct. So let us continue our discussion. So in here, we have screening for breast cancer. So a good breast health plan. So you have your self-awareness or month self-examination. And then you have the clinical breast exam. And then, of course, you have your mammogram and your ultrasound and a lot more. Of course, MRI. Okay? So average size lump found by woman practicing occasional breast exam. It could be somewhat bigger. Okay? The next one followed by average size lump found by woman practicing regular breast self-exam. And then, of course, you have the average size lump found by getting regular mammogram. So how are you going to analyze this one? So the bigger the lump, you are going to feel it doing your breast self-exam. And if there would be nodules, you are going to get them by utilize your mammogram. So what does it mean? It doesn't mean that you don't feel anything, you don't have a lump. Okay, in radiology, we have the term mass and nodule. What would be the difference? The difference would be size. So if it would be greater than 3 centimeter, it would be a mass. If it would be less than 3 centimeter, it would be a nodule. So if you are practicing your breast self-examination and then you are very confident that there's nothing in here in your breast, then of course that is not 100% nothing in there because there would be nodules that you cannot appreciate, that you cannot palpate, but can be seen utilizing MAM. So we have here the breast self-exam opportunity for women to become familiar with her breast. But when I was studying medicine, one of our lecturers, who is a surgeon, told us one thing, and I can never forget that most of the breast lump, it was not the woman who felt that one. It would be the husband. So when I was married, and then of course I have sebaceous cyst on the upper outer quadrant. My husband would tell me, "Let's go to the doctor. There's something in there." And I would just tell him that, "Okay, relax. That is sebaceous cyst, meaning there is just a blackhead that won't protrude, so it would go deeper to my breast." Okay. So monthly exam of the breast and underarm area may discover any changes early and begin at age 20 and then continue monthly. The thing is, it should be done 1 week after menses because if you're going to do it 1 week before menses and then you have a lot of hormones and your breast is quite tender, so you're not comfortable. And then, of course, there's also chances that you could feel the lymph nodes and the lymph nodes would be enlarged. And then there would be instances that you would panic because there's something there. Parang mga gamunggo yan. So I've done a lot of breast palpation when I have my duty with uh, diagnostic center or APE centers, and I would feel that there are uh, lymph nodes that are enlarged. Of course, I would ask, "Are you going to have your menstruation?" Then I would just write, suggest, repeat self-breast examination 1 week after menses. And then what I usually do is I would get the finger of the female or the hand of the female, and then I will let them feel it, then tell them exactly, dito mo din siya titignan, dito mo din siya kakapain. Ito ang kapa natin sa kanya ngayon. So, ang gusto kong gawin mo, 1 week after menses, kapain mo rin siya ulit. At pag nandyan siya, lumaki siya, sumakit siya, then you're going to go to a doctor. So, that's how I explain it. Okay? So, again, timing is very important. So, that would be 1 week after menses. So, how to do it? So, you have to do it. You can do it standing. Of course, you can do it in a supine position. But then, of course, you have to look at your breast. You have to palpate your breast bilaterally, and most importantly, you have to include the axillary area and a little squeezing. Where is the most common site of breast massage? So if this would be your breast, can you see the cursor? If this would be your breast and this would be your nipple, we're going to make an imaginary line on the nipple. So that would mean this would be the upper and this would be the lower. And this would be the upper inner and this would be the upper outer. And it is where that most of breast cancers appear, on the upper outer one. Okay? So why don't more women practice BSE? Because they are afraid, they are embarrassed, they don't know how to do it, they uh, are busy. Okay? So now let's move on with the clinical breast examination. Of course, during annual physical examination, there should be a clinical breast examination. And this is the thing that I have observed. There are two kind of female during APE. Those that are very brave that would say, Doc, gawin natin yung aking breast exam. Kasi meron akong kapatid, nanay, who suffered from breast cancer. The other one would be, Doc, annual PE na po ako, no, hindi na ako pre-employment. So that would be, I have rights, right? And then they would say, Doc, can I waive? And what are the things that you're going to waive? Number one, ayoko magpa-breast exam. But again, this is very, very important. And sabi ko nga, sa isang taon sa buong buhay, merong isang tao nakakapasa inyo ng seryoso. And that would be the doctor. So, kailangan magpakapa na kayo. Okay? So, clinical breast examination performed by doctor or trained nurse practitioner annually for women over 40. But of course, if you have your APE, then every year it is a part of the APE. Okay? So now let's move on to one of the most painful parts. You have your mammography. The X-ray of the breast has been shown to save lives in patients 50 to 69. Data mix of usefulness for patients 40 to 49. And normal mammogram does not rule out possibility of cancer. Okay? So the question is, bakit ba siya masakit? Paano ba siya nagiging masakit? So look at the picture. If this would be your breast, we're going to even out your breast tissue. Kailangan po, nakaspread siya. So halimbawa, example na nga, halimbawa, favorite nyo na peanut butter, di ba? Gusto mo naka-evenly spread out yung peanut butter. Ganon. Kailangan evenly spread out siya kasi nga, para walang ma-miss si radiologist, kailangan pantay-pantay po yung thickness ng breast. Okay? So, kaya din siya iniikit. So, yun po yung rason. At sabi nila, mas masakit sa mas maliit na suso kasi nga naman, syempre, di ba? Maliit siya tapos i-even out pa siya. And then, pag mas malaki daw, allegedly, hindi naman din daw ganun kasakit. Pero, from the idea that we're going to press the breast, masakit po talaga. Diba? So, women, 40 years of age and older should have a mammogram every. So, ito yung baseline. At ito talaga yung dapat ginagawa. However, of course, we're in the Philippines and sometimes hindi naman siya nasusunod. Kaya nga po, whenever I do my APE lecture, ang lagi kong sinasabi is, can we have an APE based on the need of the individual? So, halimbawa, 40 years old and above, aware tayo na may yan. Correct yun. Pero sana kapag kababae, pwede na natin siyang dagdagan. But of course, importante din na may family history at importante din na merong indication. Okay? Na merong changes on the breast to do. So now how to prepare? Ano ba yung dapat natin gawin? So you have your prescription. Of course, kailangan may doctor's order. Scheduling is very important. So 1 week after your period is best. And parehas po yan ng breast examination 1 week after the period. So day of the mammogram, ito yung dapat nating maintindihan. No powder, lotion, deodorant, or perfume. Doon sa ating anterior chest and then doon sa ating salary. So that would be part of the prep. And then of course, we have two types of mammogram. So we have screening and diagnostic. What would be the difference? Your screening, kasi nga, screening siya, no manifestation at all. And you have the age. That would be 40. Yung diagnostic, ito, for women experiencing symptoms or to follow up an abnormal. Okay? So let us look at this. Anong ang tawag natin dito? Melons, di ba? So between your mammogram, look for these changes. So you can have thickened area, dimpling, nipple crusting, changes in the temperature, and also changes in the itsura, then something coming out of the nipples, and then skin sores, bumps, growing veins, sunken nipple, new shape or size, orange peel, and then hard lump. So recognize something. Some changes are normal, but if the change doesn't go away, be smart and show your doctor. Ito pa yung isang, pag nakita mo pantay, both na breast mo meron, more or less normal yun. Pero pag nakita mo, isa lang sa kanila ang meron, ibig sabihin abnormal. Okay? So ganun po kami ang mag-compare. Okay? So now let's move on with one diagnostic examination, and this would be breast ultrasound. Ang breast ultrasound, other name niya would be sonomammogram. You also have no special preparation. And then for comparative study, you need to bring your previous ultrasound. And then intended use, it may be used to assess the size and location of abnormality. So being a radiologist, what is expected from me? I would locate. Ang ginagamit po namin ay face of the clock. So meron kaming 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, saka 9 o'clock. And then size is very, very important. And the characteristics. Pero ito yung isang bagay ha. Kahit po kami ay radiologist, we cannot tell exactly what is your diagnosis. Kasi nga, ang makakapagsabi lang ng ng talagang diagnosis, exact tamang diagnosis would be a pathologist. So meaning, you need to undergo a bio. Okay? So it may be used to assess the size and location of abnormalities such as cysts, nodules, and tumors. So breast ultrasound, you have different indications. So we have here palpable or symptomatic breast or axillary lump, mammographic abnormality, breast inflammation, nipple changes with or without discharge, augmented breast. Ano ibig sabihin ng augmented breast? Ito yung breast na maliit na pinalaki. So dinagdagan siya ng cup. And then of course you have your follow-up and then strong family history of breast cancer. Okay, so that would be the indications for the application. So breast ultrasound aids the assessment of abnormalities with or without detection by mammography, vascularity characteristic of the lesion, and then characterize lesion dimension and characteristic of lesion with or without biopsy. Bakit merong nakalagay dito na with or without biopsy? Of course, a radiologist can also be interventional radiologist. Or kahit hindi pa interventional radiologist, we are also trained to do what we call FNAB, fine needle aspiration biopsy with the help of an ultrasound. So ang tawag natin doon would now be ultrasound guided fine needle aspiration biopsy. So kami na radiologist yung kukuha ng tissue, gagamit lang po kami ng needle, na mahabang needle, to get a sample and then ibibigay namin kay pathologist. Iba po ang way ng pag-biopsy ng surgeon. Kasi pag ang surgeon nag-biopsy, they are going to use also scalpel, get a tissue, and then give it to the pathologist. Okay? So we have here identifying breast cancer. So you have mammography, ultrasound, then MRI. And of course, I told you earlier that in order for you to diagnose a patient, you have what you call biopsy. Okay, and again, we have different ways of doing the biopsy. So let's move with your breast MRI. So what to expect during a breast MRI? Of course, you have the contrast and then the positioning. You're in a prone position, nakadapa po. Okay? So we have here is strength of indication. So you have absolute indication, high risk screening, and occult breast cancer. When you say occult, natatagong breast cancer. And then of course you have your relative indication. So for the relative indication, pinaka ginagamit namin siya for preoperative staging, post-operative or post-treatment. And of course, you have your implant assessment. You also have your treatment monitoring. And then of course, you have your density. So that would be the use of the breast MRI. So how to diagnose breast cancer? Ano nga po yung ating mga diagnostic tools and ano yung ating mga examination? Let's review. Paano ba? So you can again write your answers on the chat box. So ano yung ating how to diagnose breast cancer? Sige nga po, answers. Histopath. What else? MRI, ano pa? Ano? Breast ultrasound, MRI, biopsy, sonomammogram. Sige. Okay. BSE, CBM, mammogram, breast cancer, breast MRI, sorry, breast ultrasound, mammography, MRI, FNAB. Okay, so again, you have correct answer. So you are listening. I therefore conclude, children, that you are listening. Okay, now let's go to the treatment. O, ganito ha. Before we talk on the treatment, we are also very aware that breast cancer has stages. And then on the stages of breast cancer, it will tell you stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And then of course, again, your treatment would be based on your stage. Pero, paano ko ba siya pinapaliwanag? Of course, we know that it would be better if kung ang sinabi sa atin ng doktor natin is a combination of all this. Kasi yung aking sister-in-law in UK, who is young, late 30s lang po siya, 3 yung anak niya. And nurse siya sa UK, nagkaroon siya ng ng breast cancer. 'Di ba? Parang if you're going to look at the risk factor, bakit siya nagkaroon ano naman siya, may anak siya 3, nagpa-breastfeeding siya. Pero yun nga pa yung nangyari. So, what I'm trying to say is, of course, kung tayo or kung kamag-anak natin, we want the best. But the thing is, because of finances, may mga treatment na hindi kayang ibigay kahit okay? But then of course, pag-usapan natin. So, ang unang ginawa sa kanya would be chemotherapy. Stage 3B kasi siya eh. So, nag-chemotherapy siya. After chemotherapy, she underwent surgery. After surgery, she underwent radiotherapy. And then the last one, until now, gumagamit po siya ng hormones. So, nakatamoxifen pa rin siya. Meron siyang friend who's also a nurse in Iloilo. And namatay po yung friend. Kasi nga, nasa Pilipinas. Sorry sa example. Namatay kasi nga po, hindi lahat ng dapat na gawin ay nagawa because of financial constraints. Yun yung pinakamalaking factor. Kaya po, yung iba, hindi din talaga nagsasurvive. Or, I also remember that when I was in training, we have a nurse in Quirino. Ang ginagawa po niya, pumupunta siya sa amin, sa department namin, for monitoring. Pero hindi siya nagpagamot. Kasi nga, sabi niya, decided siya, bata pa siya, nurse siya, decided siya na hindi siya magpagamot. Kasi nurse naman siya ng Quirino, can give the things that we have in the hospital being an employee. Pero she choose not to have all of this. And of course, that is one of her rights as a patient. And we also need to respect that. Okay? Sige. So for surgery, we have different types. We have lumpectomy, MRM, and radical mastectomy. And then of course, these are examples of your pre and post expander and implant. So kita natin, gumaganda kasi nilalagyan po siya ng implant. Okay? So you also have radio, chemo, and hormonal therapy. And then, let's start with your radiotherapy. So So this one is used in palliative care to improve comfort and quality of life, and also used in the following: after breast conserving surgery, after mastectomy, and we have with stage 4 breast cancer. What do you mean by stage 4? When cancer has spread from breast to other organs of the body. So ibig sabihin, yung kanyang prognosis hindi na maganda, at ang gusto na lang nating mangyari is ah, palliation. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin na matitreat yung kanyang cancer. But they say palliation is somewhat helping the patient go through the latter stages of cancer, giving respect then sa kanyang mga pinagdadaan. Okay? So we have your types of radiation. So you have external beam, brachytherapy, and proton beam therapy. So whatever it is po na i-advise ng doctor, so yan po yung ating mga types of radiation. On the other hand, this is the most commonly known way of managing breast cancer in the Philippines. This is what you call chemotherapy. So what to expect during a chemotherapy infusion? So aware na tayo dito, pinibigyan siya ng chemotherapeutic drug. Common side effect of chemotherapy would be nausea and vomiting. And then hair fall. So bakit ba nagkakaroon ng nausea and vomiting? Ba't ba nagsusuka? Bakit ba nag-hair fall? Kasi nga, yung actively dividing cells ng ating katawan, sila din yung unang natatamaan ng chemotherapeutic drug. Okay? So you have IV is set up through a port or needle. So you have now your IV bag drips, and then injectable drugs can be administered also through IV bag, or this one is what you call the infusion pump. So how many cycles of chemotherapy? Depende din po yan kung ano po yung i-advise ng doctor, depende sa prognosis. And then sometimes also, depende rin sa pasyente, what they wish. Okay? Then of course, you have your hormonal therapy. So you have hormone receptor positive breast cancer. So we have here estrogen progesterone molecules. So you have the estrogen receptor, and then signal tells the cell to keep dividing. And then if you're going to block your receptor, what would happen? So hormone therapy blocks the receptor, preventing the tumor growth. So hindi na natin pinapalaki. Another example, so you have estrogen receptor, estrogen binds the estrogen receptor, and the example of the medication would be your tamoxifen. So tamoxifen blocks estrogen receptors in order to prevent estrogen from reaching the tumor. Okay? So let us now look at examples of treatment options. Pero again, sabi ko nga, depende po yan then sa mga pasyente na. Of course, again, one of the rights of our patient, right to refuse treatment. Kung ayaw nila, paliwanag muna natin lahat ng choices, then kung ayaw nila, nasa kanila po yun. However, let us go over this. So you have stage 0. So ito surgery lang. Stage 1, you have surgery plus or minus radiotherapy. Hormone therapy may be used to prevent return of the disease, and then lymph nodes are biopsied or dissected. You also have your stage 2. You have the surgery, radio, chemo, and then lymph nodes are removed and biopsied, and then you also have your hormone or targeted immunotherapy. Stage 3, potential combination of lumpectomy and mastectomy. So ito po yung stage nung kinikwento ko sa inyo. Chemotherapy before surgery, radiation after surgery, removal of lymph nodes may occur during surgery, and then possible targeted therapy. And of course, yung stage na ayaw nating marinig. And that would be your stage 4. So focus on managing pain and symptoms through hormone therapy, targeted therapy, chemotherapy, immunoradiation, and surgery. So let us look at this one, the different stages. So of course, we know there would be stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. In order for us to stage a patient, we need to look at the tumor size, the lymph node involvement, the cancer spread. And looking at the stage of the patient, we can say what would be the survival rate. But as I always say, ako po, personally, what would be my take on this? I am a doctor, I'm not God. Hindi ako. These are the statistics na pag-aralan lahat to na sulat sa libro. But there are people who have a strong faith in God and everything changes. And with that, hindi ko pwedeng question it. Because I also believe in that. And that is what you call divine. Okay, so let us summarize what we have here. The lower the stage, the greater the prognosis. The higher the stage, the prognosis is not that. Okay? So again, habang palaki ng palaki, ang size ng tumor, pataas ng pataas. Habang mas maraming lymph nodes ang affected, pataas din ng pataas stage. Habang ang cancer ay pumupunta sa iba't ibang bahagi ng katawan, pataas din ng pataas. And how are we going to use this sa mga buhay natin? If we know or if we feel that something is off, something is wrong, we need to listen to our body. Ibig sabihin yan, if there's a need to go to your doctor, you need, kasi nga, what they say is prevention is better than cure. For the lower the stage of a certain disease, mas lesser yung complication, mas madali siyang i-manage. Also, mas lesser yung. Okay? So, prognosis after breast cancer, so you have stage 0 to 4. So, the higher the stage, the prognosis that's not good. So, this would be my second to the last slide. So, you have here myths and facts. Breast cancer only affects older women. Not true, because there are also young individuals that are suffering from breast. So if you have a risk factor for breast cancer, you're likely to get the disease. We're talking about risk factor. You might get the disease, you might not get it. So using antiperspirant causes breast cancer, hindi rin. Breast cancer diagnosis is an automatic death sentence. It's up to the person. Kasi may mga nanda-diagnose din naman that they have a better outlook in life. Of course, affected yung kanilang mental health. But the thing is, maraming sumuporta sa kanila, maraming tumulong sa kanila. So that would not be that is automatic death sentence. And also, breast cancer is preventable. So this is according to Secretary Francisco Duque. So we urge women to regularly do breast self-exam and immediately visit the nearest health center should she notice any cause for concern. Other healthcare professionals have the confidence to perform breast screening. And for those who are already diagnosed with the disease, we encourage you to get treated at the DOH hospital and receive holistic care. Okay? So that would be all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I hope that we learned something for this lesson.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rochelle, for that very informative presentation. We invite everyone to send their questions in the chat box. If someone wishes to use the microphone, please raise your hand so we can acknowledge before we open your microphone. We have also requested through your registration to send us some questions. So while waiting for the questions to come in through the chat box, we will also be reading out some questions. Ayan, meron na pala agad. Mabilis. Mabilis yung questions nila. So, Dokar, in the chat box, I have solid mass in my right breast, 12 o'clock, 0.8 cm. I'm so afraid. My mother died 4 years ago due to metastasized breast cancer. I'm only 29, single. Sabi po ng doc, monitoring muna every 6 months. Napaparanoid po ako. Parang ayaw ko na mag-asawa. What can you advise her, Dokar?
Napaka-personal nung tanong to. Sige, try kong sagutin sa aking abot ng makakaya. Sige. Andun na tayo. Meron kang risk factor. Namatay si mami mo because of breast cancer. Of course, I know na mahirap yung pinagdaanan mo. But the thing is, you still have choices right now. You go back to your doctor. Pag sinabi niyang i-monitor din natin. Pag sinabi niyang bawal yung mga gantong bagay, let us follow the doctor's advice. And sabi ko nga kanina, that is not an automatic death sentence. Or you remember yung aking hipag, 'di ba? Ano siya, 30-something. Lahat pinagdaanan niya. Ang lagi lang niyang sinasabi is, I need to be strong for my kids. So, kailangan ganun ka din. Meron ka pang tatay, meron ka pang mga kapatid, so you still need to be strong for them. And when you are ready, you need to face your greatest fear. Okay? So hindi naman natin minamadali yan, no? But the thing is, marami pang taong nangangailangan sa'yo. So yun yung tandaan. Marami ka pang pwedeng iambag sa bansang Pilipinas. So, kailangan ka pa namin. So that would mean that you need to have proper treatment. Of course, monitoring and proper treatment as per the advice of your doctor.
Okay, thank you, Dr. So here's another question. What do you call when you touch your breast and it feels like there's a hole? Maybe she's
There's
considering this as a possible symptom.
ano po yun, parang may butas, parang may
Lumo,
empty, ganon.
parang lumubog siguro, Dr.
Ayan,
Ayan, may empty.
oo, parang may empty. Kung ganyan po, tapos wala naman sa kabila, so ano yan, abnormality. So kung abnormality, hindi ko sinasabi kaagad na outright cancer yan, sinasabi ko lang abnormality, so let's consider that. Kung ganyan yung sitwasyon, again, better pa rin that we should be evaluated. So, when you go to your doctor, clinical breast exam, siya yung kakapa. Kasi minsan, ano din yan nasa skill ng pagkapa. And then, pag sinabi niya na nag-advise siya ng ultrasound or any other modality, then we have to adhere. Kasi, ang beauty kasi ng ultrasound, kung nasaan yung parang empty, itatapat mo dun yung probe, then makikita mo, empty ba talaga siya or meron siyang laman na liquid na pag pinindot mo lang kasi, parang feeling mo empty siya. Pero meron palang ano dun, may liquid pala dun na lumulubog kapag nakakapa. So, pwedeng ganon. So, evaluation from a professional would be very important.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. So we'll be reading the questions that were sent through our Zoom registration. What are the types of cancers that are related to breast, Dr.? So baka worried siya. There could be other cancers.
Actually po yung nabanggit natin kanina, 'di ba yung most common would be your ductal carcinoma. Actually marami naman talagang different types of cancer. Yun nga lang pag kami examination purposes, doon tayo sa most common. At pag sinabing most common, yun naman din talaga. By ano na kasi yan, naaral na kasi siya. So, nasabi na yun yung pinakamadaming bulk ng patient na may ganung klase ng tumor.
Okay. Another question from our registration. Is it possible na magka-breast cancer yung mga flat-chested?
Pwede.
And also for
Kasi,
men, Dr. May second question for men.
Yes. Kasi kahit flat-chested ka, meron ka pa ring breast tissue. So, pwede pa rin. Ang lalaki po, pag nagkaroon siya ng breast cancer, most of the time malignant. So, yun yung hindi ko makalimutan din sa ni-lecture sa akin, na pag ang lalaki nagkaroon ng breast cancer, most of the time malignant. So, answer the question, pag ba flat-chested, pwedeng magkaroon ng breast cancer? The answer would be yes.
Okay. Another question. I have a cyst for 8 years. So far, hindi po lumalaki. Breastfeeding po ako. May chance po ba maging cancer?
Okay po. Pag cyst siya, from the very beginning, cyst yan, benign. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin na hindi siya lumalaki, hindi na natin siya ibabalik sa doktor for check-up. Kasi on one breast, pwedeng may benign, pwede ring may malignant. So, ang sinasabi ko is, baka sabi nga natin, di ba kanina sa lecture, pag maliliit, hindi siya nakakapa. So, kung sabihan ka ng doktor ng ipagawa mo yung ganito, at least check po siya. Pero to answer the question, benign, kung benign, hindi siya magiging malignant. Pero sa isang suso, pwedeng magkaroon ng benign at pwede rin magkaroon ng malignant.
So continue to monitor lang po.
Yes, continue to monitor.
Okay. And the next question, she's also saying na meron siyang lumps. But the question is, bakit po kaya pinapamonitor kung hindi naman cancerous? Kailangan daw po every 6 months ang monitoring.
tinitingnan natin kung lumalaki ba siya. Kasi kung lumalaki siya, ibig sabihin nun, pwede siyang tanggalin dahil nga, ah, lumalaki siya and then of course, ang mino-monitor dun is not only that mass, not only that lump, pero mino-monitor din the entire breast kung meron bang other changes on that breast.
Okay, Dr. Another question, is it recommended to do the mammogram and breast ultrasound at the same time since some OB require one test after another?
Okay, depende po. Ganito ha, ito yung experience ko diyan. Let us look at the age of the patient. 'Pag mas bata, less than 40, breast ultrasound po 'yan. Pero 'pag mas matanda, breast mammogram. Pero kung ang gagamitin mo ay HMO at nakuha mo yung package na health package na ginagawa din ng ibang diagnostic center, puwedeng magkasunod. Kasi nga naka-package siya, mas mababa yung price. However, kung merong tinitignan ang doktor mo, halimbawa inuna ng doktor mo yung breast ultrasound, and then meron siyang nakita dun, magre-request siya ng mammogram in order for her to correlate the result of the mammogram and the breast ultrasound. O different scenario po yun magkakaiba yun. So parang dun ka kabilang sa last scenario. So, pinagawa yung breast mammogram, breast ultrasound, merong nakita. Ngayon, para maging confident si doktor sa nakita niya, kailangan niya ng correlational study. And the correlational study would be your breast mammogram. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Another
Welcome
question,
po.
can physical injuries to the breast cause cancer? This
Yan. Natanong din sa akin yan. Can cause trauma. Yung talagang kung paano ka na-trauma, halimbawa, nasuntok ka sa braso, gano'n din yung sa breast, but not necessarily can cause breast cancer. Pero iwasan naman natin na laging matotrauma yung ating mga breast. Okay?
Okay. Another question, I experienced na may kumikirot po sa breast ko left and right. Normal lang po ba to?
Okay. Sige, to tell you honestly, ganito muna. Ano ba yan? 'Pag malapit ka ng reglahin. Kasi 'pag malapit ng reglahin, puwedeng hormonal. But may mga nakukuha kami na pasyente na ang kanilang complaint ay breast pain. And of course, may mga instances na nakuhanan sila ng ultrasound at merong findings. So, how to go about this one? Puwede mo siyang i-monitor, pero for your peace of mind, meron ba or wala, again, it is also important that you should be evaluated by a healthcare professional. Para once and for all, alam mo na, di ba? Ito bang breast pain ko bilateral would be physiologic? Ibig sabihin, normal part na magre-regla ako? Or ito ba ay pathologic? Ibig sabihin nun, may disease causing the breast pain.
Okay, thank you, Dr. How about those people with breast implants? Are they also susceptible to breast cancer?
Yan, nabasa ko din yan eh. Sabi nga natin, basta babae, basta may suso. Ano yan, pwedeng magkaroon ng breast cancer. Of course, yung mga may breast implant, ang concern natin palagi naman sa kanila is baka mabutas. So, ang ginagawa natin doon is breast MRI para malaman kung intact pa rin yung mga implant. Kasi pag nabutas yan, of course, that would also give discomfort dun sa female.
Thank you, Dr. Here's another question. May for monitoring po ako na cyst for almost 3 years now. How frequent should I have my mammogram? The size of my cyst was last in May 2022, 1.1 by 0.07 centimeters. Should I need another test sooner?
Sige, medyo malaki ha, kasi naka-centimeters na siya. Pero kasi, I think you would have an advice coming from your doctor also. So, depende pa rin sa kanya kung isi-6 months ka niya. Usual na monitoring kasi namin 6 and 12 months eh. Actually, we radiologists follow the recommendation of our clinicians. We are not the ones who tell na 6 months lang or 12 months lang. Kasi nga, once na na-physical exam kayo ng inyong mga doktor at tingin niya there's more need of frequent follow-up, sila po yung nasusunod. Kasi sila naman po yung nakakagawa ng complete check-up on. So it could be either 6 or 12 months, depending upon the recommendation of your clinician.
So best to follow up with your doctor po.
Yes po.
So another question, how about nipple pain po? What can you say about it?
Okay, nipple pain. Sige, going back, ano kaya yung, again, sabi natin, no, pag magre-regla ang babae, sensitive din kasi ang nipple. So, kung madalas yung pagsakit ng nipple, so it would mean na mas maganda rin na meron kang health assessment coming from a professional.
Let's better have it checked.
Mm-mm.
Here's another question. We have one employee recently diagnosed of atypical hyperplasia right breast, underwent partial mastectomy. Paano po yung prognosis niya? Or
Yan, ako.
very
Sige.
specific?
Nabanggit natin kanina, in order to prognose, kailangan complete physical examination, complete history, and then biopsy. Mahirap ako kasing magsabi ng numbers or stage. We need to look into a lot of considerations before we can say what is the prognosis of the patient. Okay, so marami tayong titignan na mga parameters to prognose a patient.
And of course, the attending physician will be the best judge kasi siya po yung nakakakita
Yes,
ng patient.
kasi hawak niya lahat ng file.
Yes. Okay, here's another question. Okay lang po ba magpa-breast ultrasound while pregnant, Doc?
Actually, if there's an indication, yes. Kasi wala namang radiation ang breast ultrasound. Ginagawa nga natin ang breast ultrasound sa buntis, di ba? Kasi yan ang imaging modality of choice dahil nga wala siyang radiation. If there's an indication, yes, pwede. Pwede pong mag-ultrasound ang buntis.
Okay. Another question, how do you explain the this is a common finding in the usually in our ultrasound. Verdad's category 3, probably benign. Parang ang blurry because of the word probably. Probably po ba talaga is benign? Is it something to worry about?
Actually, yan talaga yung verbatim na nakalagay sa namin eh. Ang ginagamit kasi namin sa breast, BI-RADS, di ba? Sa liver, LIRADS, sa thyroid, ThyRADS. So, meron kaming BI-RADS. Breast, yan, galing yan sa ibang bansa. And that is a universal language. So, halimbawa, in-ultrasound ka dito, dinala mo yung ultrasound mo sa Canada, same ang basa kasi BI-RADS. Yan talaga yung verbatim na nakalagay doon sa aming BI-RADS. So, but more or less, pag sinabi namang probably, again, yun po yung tingin ni radiologist. But going back again to your surgeon, kung tingin ni surgeon ay meron pang ibang bagay, so again, siya pa rin ang magdedesisyon on how to go about the reading. Okay? So kami po, we write what we saw in the ultrasound. But kung ano yung recommendation on how to do it, what to do, when to do, it would still be dependent on your surgeon managing.
One question, kung may nakakapapong bukol sa right breast, ano po yung initial test for a 23-year-old?
Okay, nakakapangbukol sa right breast, of course, physical examination. And for me, ako si doctor, breast ultrasound would be a good modality.
Another question, I have a 1.6 cm cyst septated. Is it cancerous? Should I be concerned?
Ano po ulit? 1.6 centimeter? Ano yung
Cyst.
sumunod na?
Cyst daw po, septated.
So may
Cyst.
septations. Oo. Again, ganito po kung sinabi, nakita sa ultrasound na cyst, and then mag-advise pa rin yung doctor nyo ng biopsy. Mas maganda pa rin na ma-biopsy kasi again, biopsy would tell us if it is a cancer or malignant or not.
Best to have it checked.
Yes.
Doctor, earlier we had a question on breast augmentation. Another question is, how about breast reduction po? Is it possible to cause cancer in the breast? Breast
Yes
reduction procedure.
po. Kasi ang breast reduction, nagbawas lang naman siya ng breast tissue, hindi naman siya totally nagtanggal.
Mhm.
So, meron pa rin. Chances are there as long as there's breast tissue.
Okay. For families without a history of breast cancer, is it still recommended to do an annual checkup for women?
Actually po yung sinasabi natin na annual checkup, part kasi yan ng ating wellness. Kasi kasama po yan sa ating APE. And that is what you call clinical breast exam. And meron na po tayo ngayong mga cases ng breast cancer na walang family history. But they have, right? So the thing is, kung kasama siya sa ating wellness program, better to do it. Kasi para sa atin din naman.
Okay. Maybe we can take the last 2 or 3 questions. For HER2 negative, is there a chance for the cancer will recur?
Yun nga po din yung isang ano natin na yung cancer kasi marami naman siyang different types. So, chances are kung hindi natin titignan din yung ating lifestyle, the things that we eat, merong mga possibility.
Okay. Best to have it monitored.
Opo.
Another question, can wearing of underwire bra cause cancer?
Yeah. Yes. Alam mo ba ano yan? Laging natatanong.
Common question.
Yes, ito yung lagi kong explanation. I have nothing against Wacoal, Triumph, Avon. Nagsabi talaga ng mga brand eh. Pero po kasi, they're still in the market. Yun ha. Kung nasa market sila, accepted sila. Kasi kung hindi sila maganda for us, 'di ba pag pagkain nga pagka nakakasira sa health, tinatanggal siya sa market. So ibig sabihin nun, wala sigurong enough na study that this wired bra can really cause diseases. So nandun sila kasi nga harmless sila. Ganto na lang. Kung sa tingin mo it would cause you bad things or it would cause you disease, you have the choice not to use them. But kung gusto niyo talaga ng mga factual information, you can go to Google, you can search. Of course, yung dapat po niyong mabasa is a reputable journal para mag-agree tayo that wired bra can really cause diseases. But so far kasi, itong malalaki nating companies na to, kung talagang nakakakos sila ng disease, tatanggalin sila sa market. Kasi 'di ba, there would be enough reason for them to banned from the market, but until now they are there. Ibig sabihin, they are harmless. So, yun yung tingin ko sa akin. Pero kung uncomfortable ka, meron kang pakiramdam na using wired bra can cause bad to you rather than good, then you have a choice and that is not to use your underwired bra.
Okay. Maybe this can be our last question. What are the do's and don'ts food for breast cancer? If any.
Ano na po ba to? Diagnose na po ba to o wala pa namang sakit?
Stage 2 breast cancer daw, doctor.
Okay, sige. Of course, ito po yung isang na-pick up ko dun sa hipag ko. Mula nung nag-start siya na maggamot for breast cancer, hindi siya kumakain ng pork. Hindi siya kumakain ng red meat. Ang kinakain lang niya ay white meat and a lot of water rather than carbonated and caffeinated drink. So siguro dun sa ating do's is you have to look at your lifestyle, you have to eat healthy food, and then you adhere with the treatment regimen. Dun sa don'ts natin would be not to take good care of yourself, not to go back to your doctor, to abuse yourself knowing na meron ka ng sakit. So, yun po yung aking mga answers on the question.
Okay. So maybe since this is already our last question, can we ask the Clara for their take-home message for our audience, Dr. Rochelle?
So again, thank you for having me. Ang dami natin, no? Nakita ko nasa 140s tayo. So I am doing this as part of health education. And of course, yung mga natutunan natin dito, let us have application. And of course, one of the important thing is for us to take good care of ourselves. Ito, lagi kong sinasabi, yung katawan natin, yung puhunan natin sa trabaho. So, better listen to your body and then take time off, magpahinga, and then of course, if you feel that there's a need to go to a professional for further evaluation, then you need to be absent on work. Kasi yung iba sinasabi nila sa akin, "Dok, I don't have time." Well, you should have time kasi kailangan mo na talaga. And for those who have this kind of disease, hindi naman nga isa siyang life sentence. I know mahirap dito sa Pilipinas. And with that also, I would like to promote hangga't bata tayo, let us save something for our health. Kung meron po kayong mga health insurance, bayaran nyo kasi these are realities of life. Natatanda tayo and magkakasakit tayo, at least we are prepared. So, yun lang po.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Vendata. It has been indeed a very fruitful last hour. So we've learned so much regarding breast cancer. So I invite everyone to give Dr. a virtual clap. Thank you very much, Dr. So since this is the end of our session, before we go, we would like to share the invitation for our next webinar. So on November 15, Tuesday, at 3 p.m., we will be having our lecture on home organic gardening. This will be an introduction to a series of organic gardening webinars that I'm sure a lot will be interested to attend, considering that most have been inclined to planting in the last 2 years. So our plantitas and plantitas can benefit from them. And of course, we're featuring this because November is Obesity Prevention Awareness Month. So we can encourage everyone to plant their vegetables, and of course, anything that can be taken from farm to table, pwede nang gawin in their respective homes. So please wait for our invitations. We will be sending out emails through and also invitations through our social media pages. Please stand by for that. Okay, thank you so much everyone for attending. We hope you enjoyed. So we will be seeing you in our next webinar. Goodbye everyone and keep safe.
with a multitude of changes, and every day can pass.
All new places, different faces in a world where changes everywhere you turn.
Find a friend you can rely